In this edition of Vinyl Haul, I've got 9 metal records I bought this month, including one that's rather divisive among genre fans. We'll be getting into that, as well as all the others coming up. First up is the debut record from Dutch prog thrash band Cryptosis. This is Bionic Swarm, released in 2021 by Century Media Records. Now, you might know a little bit about Cryptosis, but under a different name. They used to be called Distillator. They were more technical thrash back then. They have some elements of that in this incarnation as well, but this is also sci-fi metal, roughly in the family of bands like Vector, but also there are faint hints of Voivod, as well as modern Pestilence, and they get a little bit proggy, as I said, as well. I think fans of Paranorm would dig this band quite a bit. Some of you might also recognize the artwork, notably the artist. This is Eleron Cantor. He did the last So Many Testament covers. He also did 5 for Havoc, as well as the latest Halloween album, that self-titled one. Some artwork also on the back, along with track listings. Also comes in a gatefold jacket with a picture of the band. There are 3 members, in case you didn't know that. The vinyl variant for this title is 180 gram red. It's a European variant, limited to 200 copies. The record also comes with an insert that has credits, picture of the band, as well as full lyrics. And like a lot of Century Media releases, at least initial releases of new albums, it also comes with a CD copy. Subsequent pressings don't. I found that out through other Century Media releases I have. So kind of a limited run thing. It's not too bad. Sometimes I prefer a download card, but some people like CDs. So there you go. Of course, if you're wanting to check out tracks, I have a few favorites here. Definitely Death Technology, as well as Conjuring the Egoist, and the album closer, Flux Divergence. There are 3 music videos from this album. I would check out all 3 of them. They're pretty decent. Death Technology is one, Prospect of Immortality, and Transcendence. I also wanted to give a shout out to a fellow metal YouTuber. That would be Steven from the Old Head channel here on YouTube. I want to thank him. He's the one who introduced me to Cryptosis, albeit inadvertently. He likes this album as well. You should go check out his channel when you get the chance. Great stuff. You know, I gotta say, in a world full of cookie-cutter thrash metal bands, and there are plenty of them now, just like there were back in the classic era, it's refreshing to hear a band that does something different with the genre. So I'm pretty impressed with this record. Definitely want to hear more from them when they put out future releases. So yeah, definitely check this out. Next up is the 4th studio album for American metal band Spirit Adrift. This is Enlightened in Eternity, released in 2020 through Century Media Records. Right away, I gotta say it, a very riff-centric band, a wide variety of tempos here as well. It's a 2-man band. Nate Garrett is the guy who does everything, except for drums, and then Marcus Bryant is the drummer. I love bands who do that when it's 1 person or 2 person, but it sounds like a full band. It sounds amazing. Some folks can't pull it off, but Spirit Adrift does it in spades. Speaking of Nate, and specifically his vocals, I get a bit of a melodic Chuck Billy kind of vibe from his vocals. Chuck has a few voices nowadays. There's a death growl, there's a thrash voice, and he does that melodic voice. It's pretty cool. I get vibes of that from this record. Also, their logo has changed, at least for this one release. They have a really cool kind of sci-fi logo. It's missing here. This is a scripty thing I don't like. Luckily, it does come back on the following EP, which I'll discuss a little bit later, and probably in future vinyl hauls because I still need to pick it up. But yeah, missing the logo. Quick look at the gatefold here, full lyrics and some artwork. Should explain the artwork is by Adam Burke. He did the front and rear as well. Adam Burke, you might remember, he did covers for the last Creeping Death LP. He also did Eternal Champion's Armor of Ire cover. Some other folks too. The latest Temple of Void album, he did that one. And some other work as well. His work is pretty known. Vinyl variant for this one is gray inside pink with white splatter. It's kind of an interesting variant. They say limited edition, though there are no numbers available on it. Also, the cover inside is blue. Interesting, because it doesn't fit the color scheme of any of this. But who cares? Definitely have a few favorites off this record. I would start with Cosmic Conquest, my very favorite song on this album. Also Harmony of the Spheres and Stronger Than Your Pain, both great tracks. The album ends with Reunited in the Void. It's a bit of a sludgy number. It picks up later, but then it has keyboards and tambourine in it, which is pretty amazing. Strangely, it all works. I definitely also want to mention music videos. There's one for Ride Into the Light, there's one for Battle High, and there's one for Screaming from Beyond. There's also a lyric video for Harmony of the Spheres. You can check all of that out at the Century Media YouTube channel. Of course, Spirit Adrift has a newer release. It's an EP called Forge Your Future. I'm looking to get a reasonably priced vinyl version of it. Some of the other variants have sold out, and they're repressing it in February of 2022. I don't know if I want to really wait that long, or I want to spend the extravagant amount of money on Discogs to get one of the existing variants. But I've heard it. It's pretty decent. Pretty great. I did want to talk about the previous album to this, Divided by Darkness. I like that album, but I think this album is a lot better in all departments. It's a real step up. So if you dig traditional metal with hints of doom and a little bit of hard rock sensibilities, you might dig Spirit Adrift. Check them out. Next up is the fifth studio album from Swedish metal band Portrait. This is At One With None, released in 2021 by Metal Blade Records. So in this release, we're hearing even more of a pull away from their previous Merciful Fate influences, especially from that first album of theirs. I also get an epic heavy metal feel to this record overall, which I really like. I think this is a great band. I'm going to say good things about them just because. Also, we should take a look at the gatefold here. A picture of the band and a quote, "Blessed is he who has crucified the world and not allowed the world to crucify him." I don't think that's biblical. Just saying. Vinyl variant for this one is green, limited to 200 copies. Nice little green. Also have an insert with full lyrics on this side and on this side. Get a little band pick there as well. You also get a poster, a rather huge poster. We'll take a look at it quickly. It's basically the cover of the album. There you go. Suitable for framing, or just hang it up in your bedroom, as people are wont to do. So I definitely have a few favorites here, starting with the title track, At One With None, great song. Also Curtains, The Dumb Supper, and A Murder of Crows. There are also music videos for this album. There's one for Curtains, as well as Phantom Fathomer. You should check both of those out. They're at the official Metal Blade YouTube channel. Also, I did hear that there is a special edition vinyl release of this album with 2 bonus tracks. I did not get that special edition, but if you did, let me know in the comments. Want to hear about those songs. So if you haven't heard Portrait in a while and maybe dismissed them back then as merely a retro band, you should definitely check in with them now because they've evolved quite a bit. I definitely like this album a lot. Going back to 1983 for the very first live album from Japanese metal band Loudness. This is Live, Loud, Alive, Loudness in Tokyo. It was released on Megaton Records, at least the copy I have. That's a Dutch pressing. Originally it was released on Nippon Columbia, which is the Japanese label. So this live album was recorded in September of 1983, which means it predates their 1985 breakthrough album in America, such being Thunder in the East. You won't find any of that material here, obviously, but they had a lot of great songs before that, so we're going to talk about that. Also, Loudness was the first Japanese metal band to be signed to a major label in the West, such being Atco Records, but that was after this. So yeah, Loudness had 4 studio albums before Thunder in the East. A lot of people don't know that. The material for this live album is pulled from those albums. They were really big in Japan, as you can imagine. The crowd goes nuts on this record. You can hear why, too. They're really, really good songs. This is a great live album. Of course, you have the siren vocals of Minoru Niharu on here. Also, the killer guitar shredding of Akira Takasaki, the latter whom is amazing. He should have been a guitar god of the 1980s, vastly underrated. Check out the track Exploder on here. I think it's his eruption in a lot of ways. He really should have been a lot bigger than he was. Amazing guitar player. Vinyl variant for this one, as you can imagine, since it's 1983, is 2 LP black. It is a double live album, which is pretty cool. These are the Megaton labels. Kind of 80s looking. I also wanted to mention some favorites, because I have a few. In the Mirror is the opening track. Love that song. Also Fly Away, Tusk of Jaguar, and Speed. Tusk of Jaguar is my very favorite song on this album. If you check nothing else out, you should check out Tusk of Jaguar. Amazing stuff. No music videos from this album, but there is the entire concert. It's on YouTube currently. It was released as a home video companion on VHS. It was reissued in 2005 on DVD, so if you can find a copy that way, it's another option. So one thing this live album has done for me is motivated me to look into the other 4 albums, the Japan-only releases they had on vinyl. Definitely want to get those because early Loudness is great. Next is the debut record for atmospheric doom metal band Field Reverie. This is Another World, released in 2020 by Avant-Garde Music. So, were I to make band comparisons here, and when have I ever done that? This definitely sits nicely between the darker aspects of Evanescence and Draconian, except maybe take out some of the death metal from the latter, throw in some more atmospheric elements, largely coming from piano and synth, but also the haunting female vocals. I would also say that fans of Frail might dig this band quite a bit. The vinyl variant for this one is gold with black splatter, limited to 150 copies. Very nice. Also, it comes with an inner sleeve. We've got a picture of the band. They are a trio with some credits here and a lovely, depressing picture. Definitely have some tracks for you to check out. Ultraviolet is a great one. Also, Another World, the title track, as well as All Roads Lead Home. There are some visualizer videos from this album, 2 of them to be precise. There's one for Ultraviolet, as well as one for The Oldest House. And you can find those at the Field Reverie YouTube channel. So if you're looking for crushing and brutal metal, you're not going to find it here. What you're going to get here, though, are mournful and passionate vocals mixed with atmospheric elements and strains of doom as well. I like this band. I'm looking forward to future releases. Next is a 2019 reissue of the original 2014 live album from the one and only Dio. This is Live in London, Hammersmith Apollo 1993, released by Ear Music. So this is obviously another live Dio album. He's put out a few of them, or rather his wife has. Take your pick. This is in support of Strange Highways, a really great album, probably Dio's darkest album. That album followed his one-album return to Black Sabbath. You might know that album better as Dehumanizer. I feel like Strange Highways gets a little bit of the dark vibe off of Dehumanizer, without sounding exactly like it, but I think there's a tie there. Pretty interesting. Vinyl variant for this one is 2LP Classic Black in 180 gram. Matching labels here. Also, we have inner sleeves, different ones for each record. Lovely picture of Dio, the logo, and another live shot of the man himself, and the logo. I am a little disappointed in how blurry this cover photo is. It might be pulled from the video, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being picky. Also wanted to show you the gatefold. There is a write-up from music journalist Malcolm Dome, which takes up most of the text there. Also some memories from Jeff Pilson. He played bass in this band at the time. You might know him better from Dokken. And some great shots, of course, here as well. And the track listing. Tracks you should check out, definitely The Mob Rules. This version is pretty great. Also Heaven and Hell. Hollywood Black, I really like the live version of that, as well as The Last in Line. We should also talk about the closing track, Here's to You. I don't think it's a good show closer at all. It's a good song, but why end a show with it? I would have stopped with We Rock. Heavily dramatic, and as we know, Dio's a dramatic guy, so he should have stopped with We Rock. If you're looking for live concert clips from this, they are available at the Mercury Studios YouTube channel, one for Strange Highways, the other one for The Mob Rules. Of course, less scrupulous folks on YouTube have posted other clips from the home video release, so they're out there too. So I now have 5 of the 7 live releases from Dio, including the Intermission EP. Still looking for Dio at Donington, as well as Inferno, so wish me luck. Next up is the 7th studio album from melodic death metal pioneers At the Gates. This is The Nightmare of Being, released in 2021 by Century Media Records. So as some might have noticed, this album is a little bit of a departure from the previous 2 records. It's definitely an experimental metal album in a lot of ways. Also, they do mix different styles into their death metal sound. We get orchestral, we get jazz, we get groove. And was that a saxophone I heard? Yeah, saxophone. All right. Vinyl variant is the Decibel exclusive 180 gram 10 tan vinyl, limited to 300 copies. Also, we have a poster in here. Poster is a two-sided poster. We get the album artwork on one side, and then we get the band on the other. I also like the red and blue on each sides of the poster, as well as the disc labels you just saw, because it's also reflected on the record album. You have the red here, and then the blue here. Great shot of the band, by the way. Of course, I have some tracks for you to check out. Of course, you should definitely check out The Nightmare of Being, also Touched by the White Hands of Death, and Eternal Winter of Reason. If you're looking for music videos, there are 4 of them. One for Spectre of Extinction, one for The Paradox, one for The Nightmare of Being, and one for The Fall into Time. Check out all 4 of those. So The Nightmare of Being does take a lot of unexpected turns, especially for the casual listener, but I like the combination of heavy and risk-taking that this album does, and I'm really curious to see where this all leads to, because I like this album. All right, let's get into it. This is the 17th studio album for British metal legends Iron Maiden, entitled Senjutsu, released in 2021 by Parlophone Records. So if you've already heard anything about this record, and I wouldn't blame you because everyone and his brother has reviewed it, especially on YouTube, this is a divisive little record, both for fans and haters, who sometimes agree. So we're going to get into the criticisms here. So let's talk about the artwork first. It's all right. I don't like the black background. I know they did it with the last album. Maybe it's going to become a theme. I don't know. It's fine. I still miss Derek Riggs. I know he's been gone forever doing the Maiden cover art, but I miss him. It's fine. No big deal. The back cover is another cover, pretty much. I think it's slightly better, but the real album cover really should have been the middle square in the gatefold. That's a great cover in the middle there. Just put the Iron Maiden logo up top and call it a day. Right? So I know Iron Maiden has gone long with some tracks, especially in recent times. I'm not bugged by long songs. I mean, I listen to a lot of music that's long. And we can go back in Maiden's catalog. I mean, Rime of the Ancient Mariner is over 13 minutes long. I like that song. I like At War with Satan from Venom. That's 20 minutes long. So inherently, I don't have a problem with long. I think for me, as long as long is interesting, there's some change-ups and all that, then I'm on board. But I might have some problems with that, with this record in particular. 82 minutes, this album is. It has 3 long songs at the end, which I'm not really into. I don't think they're really great. Maybe throw them on an EP instead and cut down the length of time on this one. So, yeah, it's long. I don't have a problem with length in and of itself, though. Again, it's the songs. The songs have to measure up. So another problem of me and this album is that it does plod along. It's very mid-paced, sometimes it's very slow-paced. It's not upbeat like I'm used to with Iron Maiden's past efforts, and not too long ago in the past, actually. Also, we could talk about Bruce's vocals. I'm not going to bust on Bruce for being old. I know lots of people are doing that right now. He's getting old. Rob Halford is getting old. I'm getting old. I mean, I used to sing in bands. I can't hit the falsetto notes I could hit 25, 30 years ago. I'm lucky if I can get one song out and then my throat gives up entirely. It's just the realities of aging. So I understand where he's kind of sticking in a certain range. I think when he tries to get out of that mature range of his is where he's in trouble. So maybe he should back off of that a little bit. I've also been hearing people talk about how this is a prog album, which is total bunk. I know Steve Harris has some 70s prog rock influence, both in his bass playing and his songwriting, but this isn't a prog album. There's one song, Lost in a Lost World, that has some of that in it, but one song out of 10 doesn't make a progressive rock metal album. It's just not there, so let it go, kids. Vinyl variant is the 3LP Walmart exclusive red and black marble vinyl. It also came in black as well as silver and black marble. Limited, though no numbers are available. I did want to talk about that, though. Walmart is claiming this is an exclusive, yet people have been reporting all over the internet that they're getting it in other places besides Walmart. So take that as you will. It might not be so exclusive to Walmart. I did want to show some of the inner sleeves. Some great artwork here for record 1. And it'll also have lyrics on the back. Also, here's another one for you. There's the Archer. And then lyrics. And then a third one. And lyrics. I like the Japanese theme a bit. Yes, I am saying something that I like about it. The artwork, to some degree. So as for favorites, and yes, I have some favorites on this album. All isn't lost. I definitely dig Stratego. And yes, it is pronounced Stratego, just like the 60s, 70s board game of the same name. Also, Darkest Hour. Also, we have The Writing on the Wall as the music video here. It's fine. I'm not excited about it. I'm not pissed off at it. Some of the other tracks, maybe most of them, maybe all of them at this point, have audio-only versions available at the Iron Maiden YouTube channel. You should check all of that out if you're interested. So a lot of plotting here, a lot of bloat, a lot of unnecessary overuse of keyboards. Also, I should mention the production job. It's a bit of a hack job. There's muddiness, there's lack of clarity in some of the instruments. So yeah, Iron Maiden, get a new producer, because you need one. So I might pick up this album and listen to it again weeks, maybe months later when I'm motivated to do so. I do know that some of you really love this album. It does have its fanboys and fangirls. So you should let me know in the comments what you like about this album. I'd honestly love to hear it and not argue with you. I'm fine with people liking this album if they like it. I just feel a little differently. I mean, truth be known, I bought a whole lot of records that I really liked. You just heard about all of them, except for one more that we're going to talk about shortly, which I loved a lot more than this. So let's get to that. Next up is the highly anticipated 7th studio album for also British, but certainly extreme metal band Carcass. This is Torn Arteries, released in 2021 by Nuclear Blast Records. So right away, I'm going to spare you all of the surgical analogies and metaphors that plague many reviews of this album currently. Yes, some folks think they are unique and clever for doing that. They aren't. Quick comment on this cover. This is a heart made of vegetables. They are vegetarians. They've gone through that in interviews and the like. I like that it's kind of rotten, and we've got some pig heads and some other things going on there. Pretty fun. So we definitely have some tempo variety on this album, which might tick off some of the classic Carcass fans who want blistering speed all the way through. You're not going to get that here, but I do like how effective those tempo shifts are, while they still maintain their heaviness. I think both are there, and I like both. Of course, I also like the Despicable EP, so I knew what I was getting into. Final variant for this one is 2LP white with red splatter, limited to 700 copies. This is the European variant. I'm not excited about the streaks. It basically looks like someone took a near-dead magic marker and just colored the record. I would have liked it darker and more splattery. C'est la vie. The record also came with a full-color booklet, a 24-page booklet. The nice thing I like, you get lyrics, by the way, but also the picture of the vegetable heart slowly rots as you go. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and ends up that way. And then for no reason, you get the pigs, and then you get more of the pigs with the silverware. Bon appetit. Also a little annoying that it's on 2 records at 45 RPM. I know there's a long song in the middle of the album that probably made it a little difficult, but if you did a 2-track order swap, you could have fit the whole thing on 1 record. Just saying. Of course, you could guess I love this album, so I have a number of favorites, starting with the opening title track, Torn Arteries, great song. Also, Dance of Ixtab. Flesh-Ripping Sonic Torment Limited, great title and great song. And the closing track, The Scythe Remorseless Swing. That's a tongue twister. Also, the track Under the Scalpel Blade, you might remember that. It was on the Despicable EP. So 1 in 4 of the tracks on that EP is here, but the other 3 are unique to the EP. So they didn't rip us off. Bonus. We should also talk about music videos. How could I forget? There is one for Dance of Ixtab. There's also a visualizer video for Kelly's Meat Emporium. Also, and these are all available at the Nuclear Blast YouTube channel, by the way, there are a bunch of trailers that are basically interviews with the band members talking about the making of this album. I highly recommend seeing those as well. They're pretty cool. So a respectable length at 49 minutes. Good job, guys. Also, I did want to mention that you can play a game with this album, a game I invented on the fly. It's called Find the Hand Claps in the Tracks on this album. There's one obvious example, and there's one that's not so obvious. Don't Google it. Just play the game. It'll be fun. So as you might know, this album took a year to come out because of the COVID thing, but I really feel it was well worth the wait. I mean, we got the Despicable EP before that, so, we had something to tide us over. Some people like the evolution of Carcass, some people don't. I know some of the older fans feel a little bit so-so about it. I am definitely on board. I love this album. It's going to get repeated spins. I'm really excited to see where Carcass goes in the future. So definitely check this out. Highly recommended. And yes, better than the Iron Maiden album. And that's it for another episode of Vinyl Haul. Remember to let me know in the comments which of these you liked, which ones you disliked. Of course, album recommendations, band recommendations, all of that. I really love when you guys do that. So definitely give me all of that and anything else relevant in the comments below. Of course, if this is your first time here, this is the Accusation Network. I do metal vinyl collecting videos at least once a week. Sometimes I shoot for twice, but sometimes it's not in the cards. Definitely check out all my playlists. I do a number of shows. I think I do over 12 different types of shows in and around metal vinyl collecting. I think you'll dig something there. Maybe a few things there. Try it out. Of course, if you're looking for simple ways to support this network, there are 3 very simple ways to do that. First, give me a like for this video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and share the video with some friends. You have friends, right? And if you've been with me for any length of time, you can also check out my Patreon page. That's at patreon.com/theaccusationnetwork. I have a bunch of reward tiers there. I have some exclusive content. I do videos, my public videos, up to 7 days earlier than I do here at YouTube. So check all that out and see if you want to jump on board. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.